Dinosaur Adventure Land, August the 11th, Friday night, 2023. Tonight, making babies, the cichlid fish. I would not pronounce it cichlid, but that's what they do, so it's called cichlid. You will be surprised how they make babies. I'd like you evolutionists to focus and tell me, step by step, how this evolved, okay? We believe the Bible is true. We're on Rumble and Genesis Baptist Church and a whole bunch of other channels. You can follow us on drdino.com. Tonight, the cichlid fish. Tomorrow night, meteor showers. Yeah, we're going to go up on the sand dune and watch the meteors, if I can stay awake. Okay, let's see. Coming to you live from Genesis Baptist Church. Jesus told us, or the Bible tells us, like in Psalms, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. How did he know to say her? All the worker ants are female. That's before they had a magnifying glass. See, the Bible is inspired of God. Okay, but ants, you could consider the ants and learn a whole lot about something about how to live. Because Jesus said, consider the lilies. Why would I want to do that? Well, they teach a great lesson. We cover that at Dinosaur Adventure Land here. 74 different types of lilies just in this one. There's 2,000 varieties of lilies to choose from. Bunch of lilies. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Consider the ravens. Whole bunch of different kinds of ravens. And they might have had a common ancestor called a raven. I don't think they care what we call them. Okay. They know what to look for in a husband and wife. There are asexual animals and sexual animals. All kinds of different animals that reproduce. Even the fruit reproduces. 50 different kinds of watermelon. God said they bring forth after their kind. That is all anybody has ever seen. That is science. To claim that a watermelon and a tomato and a banana and a whale are related is stupid, real stupid. You can believe that if you want, but don't call it science and don't make everybody learn that in school. Okay, how did that debate go last night? It went for 2 hours after I left, did it? They don't get it. I do all I can do. You can help us stay open for free. That cough button get here yet? Not yet. Sorry about that. Help us stay open for free. Join our 777 club. Go to drdino.com and click the yellow button on there where it talks about join the 777. If you can, give $1 a day to help us stay open. We win souls all the time around here. Okay, we're on CSE. Make any checks to CSE. Okay. Get our video series. You got to look at that. You scan those black dots and it does something. Yep. How about the Woe series? You got the Woe series? Boy, Joe, that's all not quite, but almost worth a raise. You're good, brother. Okay. Let's see. Short commercial break. I talked to a guy an hour ago up in Tuscaloosa. They got a 07 Jeep Wrangler. Well, that's what we want. We have one. We want to do some swapping. So I told him watch the show tonight since I didn't know how to get all the pictures sent to him in time. We've got a 07 Jeep Wrangler. We love it. Took the doors off, take the roof off. I give tours every day. But in the wintertime, we want to put the doors on and have a heater. So we're getting rid of our side-by-sides because they don't have a heater. Let's see. We have our 2013 Silverado truck. We'd like to do some swapping for a Jeep Wrangler. We got a side-by-side Yanmar, a 2018 6-passenger. Works great, but it's not powerful enough. It's a 700cc, and it doesn't have a heater or doors. So we got it for sale at the Yanmar dealer in Monroeville, sitting there in his lot he's advertising it for $12,000. Okay, if you want to help, you got my phone number. I could talk to you. Give me a call in about an hour when I'm done, if I can still talk. Okay, tonight, nope, not Richard Dawkins. Cichlid. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth. God blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply. The ability to procreate is a great blessing. God blessed them and said, go do this, go do this. God blessed Noah, said, go have a bunch of kids. So he made them male and female, and that's the only two, by the way. He made them male and female. It's all through the Bible. So God, in his infinite wisdom, gave the command for all life forms to make babies. He also gave the equipment to do so and the drive to do so. Why would any animal or plant want to make more of its own kind? That's only going to increase competition for the food supply. How do you atheists explain that? Why didn't any of them just evolve the ability to live forever? Why make more babies and increase competition? Anyway, he gave an amazing variety of ways to do this. Okay, we'll talk about some of those tonight. I want you evolutionists to try to answer how this evolved with a scientific answer, please. I think God made so many varieties of ways to reproduce just to make the evolution theory look dumb. And so you'll have no excuse Judgment Day. David said, Psalm 139, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I like praising God for what I see in nature. Okay, we talked about the anglerfish. Nobody answered. The tardigrade. Nobody answered. Honeybee, watermelon, starfish, praying mantis. Nobody answered. Mud skippers, beavers. Come on, you atheists. You're way behind. Way, way, way behind. Answer some of these. Come on. Don't distract attention. Don't say Hovind doesn't have a degree. It doesn't matter. I could be a kindergarten dropout. Answer the question. How did the Venus flytrap evolve? How about the flatworm, or the sea devil, or the goby, or the electric eel, or the seahorse? You guys know to answer them. The club-winged mannequins, the right whales, the left whales, the middle whales, the wrong whales, okay? The frilled shark. Nobody answered. The blue whale, the banana slug, the plover, the porcupine, tarantula. I'm giving you lots of targets to shoot at. Lots of targets. Pick one. Pick any one. Nobody's answered the question. The bacteria, the Komodo dragon, the hippo, the condor. Nobody answered that one. The axolotl. Nobody answered that one. Tonight, the cichlid, a fish. I predict not one atheist will even attempt to answer these questions. You can't do it, can you? I know. Okay. Let's see. Cichlids are freshwater fish from the family Cichlidae in cichliforms. There are 2,000 to 3,000 species. They're not even sure how many. They come in a broad range of colors and shapes. They range from about 1 inch long to 3 feet long. All kinds of them. Or extraordinary evolution of cichlid. Right. You got to give evolution the credit or you won't get published in a peer-reviewed journal. That's the problem, okay? There are all kinds of different cichlids. This guy's got a big brain, I guess. The extraordinary evolution of cichlid fishes. Scientific American. It won't get published if you don't match the evolution dogma. And then they say, well, it's got to be in published journals, right? Okay. A mind-boggling degree of speciation, revealing features of their genome that primed them to diversify so spectacularly. See, they had a genome that allowed them to diversify, to take over all the lakes over there, and it just evolved. They can't give God the credit. Cichlids, fish, are the most diverse family of vertebrate on record, more than 2,500 species. Sequencing of the several cichlid genomes has begun to furnish clues to their astounding diversification. They can't give God the glory, can they? Cichlid genomes exhibit a number of special features that may have accelerated the evolution of this group. They evolve rapidly. Whoa. Other genome traits may explain cichlids' tendency to independently evolve. You got to claim evolution every time. Independently evolve. Africa, Lake Victoria, is home to one of evolution's greatest experiments. Why can't you say God gets the glory? Let's see. Just like Darwin's famous finches, which evolved a range of beak shapes and sizes to exploit the different foods available, these cichlids represent a textbook example of what biologists term adaptive radiation, the phenomena whereby one lineage spawns numerous species that evolve specializations to an array of ecological roles. Lake Victoria, cichlids, far surpass Darwin's finches. Well, where's this? 500 species evolved in the past 15 to 10,000 years? You mean adaptive radiation can happen rapidly? Like maybe the animals getting off of Noah's Ark 4,400 years ago could make a variety of other offspring that are still the same kind? Guys, think. Stop and think. Here's Lake Victoria down here in Africa, right there. Pretty big lake. There are all kinds of cichlid fish, and they all had a common ancestor called a cichlid. Understand? That's as far as it goes. So the cichlids, the humans, the birds, the dinosaurs, the ladybugs, the pine trees, and the worms are all related to a common ancestor because you guys drew lines on paper. This is the logic of the atheist. Look, we see 500 or 2,000 kinds of cichlids. That proves we're related to bananas. Have somebody smack you in the head, would you? Come on, think. All told, estimate 2,500 species. Wow. Whole bunch of cichlids. Okay. Tilapia is a cichlid. It's raised for food. Oscars and angelfish are cichlids. Oscars are kind of ugly, aren't they? There's the angelfish. I and other scientists, so you're not allowed to call yourself a scientist unless you believe in evolution. You're not allowed to be a scientist. Okay. That's your logic, isn't it? You guys last night, that's your logic. Let's see, we combed their DNA for clues to this evolutionary exuberance. We've not solved all the full puzzle of cichlid diversity yet, far from it, but we have found some special characteristics of cichlid genomes that might have primed them to diversify with such speed, yet also to evolve certain traits again and again. Wow, it evolved over and over. There's cichlid. Let me show you what one guy did and how cichlid make babies, if I can get over to the right. There. This is Cichlids, CICHLD.bros. Great video. I'm just going to play a few minutes of it on his fish tanks. Oh, over here. Got to go over here and click the button. Too many buttons to push. No. What did I do? The joy of PowerPoint. Now I have to come to this one, I think. Let's try, see what happens here. I click that little arrow.
I currently have 7 Geophagus topos in this tank, and I've had them for about 3.5 years now. I've showed a care guide, I've showed a growth rate video, and different tank mate options for the Geophagus topos, and I'll leave those down in the description below. And because I've had this group of 7 with a good ratio of males to females, I've always kept an eye out for that breeding behavior.
Kept an eye out for the breeding behavior. Now, they don't touch each other. No touch sex. That's glad I'm not a fish. Okay, let's see.
I thought I've seen the breeding behaviors a few times over the last year or so, but I've never been able to see the eggs or see it in action. But about a week ago, I was just watching TV on the couch, and from afar, I could see the Geophagus topos, a male and a female, clearly showing some breeding behaviors by pairing up, circling around a rock, picking up the rock and cleaning it, and a little bit of circling and shimmying from both the male and female.
Breeding behaviors. She's trying to get his attention, he's trying to get her attention, or whatever. Giraffes do it differently, humans do it differently. Watch what happens now. Mama's going to lay the eggs. The dad goes by and fertilizes them. Why? Why?
Both of them were fired up and colored up as well, so that was another tale that they were in breeding mode. I also noticed that the female's egg tube was slightly extended, so I definitely thought that eggs were coming very soon. I kept a very close eye on them over the next few hours, and sure enough, right before the lights turned off for the night, I noticed that they had laid about 100 eggs on this rock here. It was very cool to see, but they did decide to choose probably the worst spot in this tank for some privacy. This is directly in the middle of the tank where a lot of the...
Okay. Watch his video, cichlid.bros, B-R-O-S. The cichlid female lays the eggs on a rock or something. Okay. Is that where it ends? Oh, no. Watch what happens next. Well, I'll talk to you. Cichlids are from the large fish family called Cichlidae. When they reproduce, the male puts the fertilized eggs in his mouth. She lays the eggs, he swims by and fertilizes them with sperm. Then he puts them in his mouth, where they stay until hatching. This process is called mouth brooding. How many of you are glad you're not a cichlid and have to keep your baby in your mouth for 9 months while it grows? Okay. The male fish is unable to eat at this time. Sometimes the female fish will carry the fertilized eggs in her mouth, or the male and female trade off, which is called biparental mouth brooding. Parents take turns. Typically, fish are born via mouth brooding are underweight at first and require recovery time to feed. So they finally get big enough to hatch out of the egg. They let them out. If they get scared, they go back in. Why doesn't Dad just eat them? He hadn't eaten in a while. Let's see. How do African cichlids reproduce? First, we have mouth brooders. The female lays the eggs, then the male fertilizes them. The female takes them back into her mouth and keeps them there till they hatch. The male will take a turn to allow the female to feed. Once the fry, that's the baby fish, are free swimming, they're allowed out to feed. But at the first sign of danger, they swim back into their parents' mouth. National Library of Medicine. Although there is extensive variation in the karyotype of cichlid fishes, the genetic code, they have 32 up to 60 DNA strands, chromosomes. Humans have 46. The one that they studied here has 46 chromosomes. Chromosome is incredibly complicated. It's not evidence for evolution. The chromosome looks like a tangled up globule, but it contains more information than the whole Library of Congress. Okay? The way the DNA works is mind-boggling. If you took two strings that are connected by a long ladder with 1 billion rungs on it and start twisting it, pretty soon it twists over on itself and then twists over on itself again. How long is your DNA? How long is it? Well, let's see. The DNA inside your cell is longer than you are. Each cell of your body, the DNA is longer than you, but packs down into a space smaller than you can see. The DNA has 46 chromosomes in a human. Try holding a piece of string at one end and twisting the other. As you twist, the string creates coils of coils, and eventually coils of coils of coils. Your DNA is arranged as a coil of coils of coils of coils of coils. This allows the 3 billion base pairs in each cell to fit into a space 6 microns across. If you stretched the DNA in one cell all the way out, it would be 2 meters long, a little over 6 feet. All the DNA in all your cells together, watch this now, would be about twice the diameter of the solar system. What's the diameter of our solar system? We're going pretty fast around the sun. It takes us a whole year to get around. It's a pretty big circle. Go out to, I think Pluto's still a planet, okay? Go out to the edge of the solar system. Twice that, that's just the DNA in you. One person's DNA would be twice the diameter of the solar system. So, how did DNA coil up? Let's see. I got a video on that right here. Your body's molecular machines. And you guys think the cichlid fish knows how to do this and make a copy of it for each of those eggs. Okay, come on.
To start, the double helix molecule we always talk about. This is a scientifically accurate depiction of DNA created by Drew Barry at the Walter and Eliza Hall Institute of Medical Research. If you unwind the two strands, you can see that each has a sugar phosphate backbone connected to the sequence of nucleic acid base pairs, known by the letters A, T, G, and C. Now, the strands run in opposite directions, which is important when you go to copy DNA. Copying DNA is one of the first steps in cell division. Here, the two strands of DNA are being unwound and separated by the tiny blue molecular machine called helicase. Helicase literally spins as fast as a jet engine. The strand of DNA...
And it all evolved with no designer for no reason. Keep in mind, each DNA has to be copied this way. The cichlid has anywhere from 32 to 80 of them, I believe. We got 46, 32 to 60. Each of these DNA strands has to be unwound, copied, and put in this egg. 100 eggs, sometimes 300 eggs. Does the fish know she's doing this? Is she thinking about that? Wow. Did she make her own machine to do this duplication?
On the right has its complementary strand assembled continuously, but the other strand is more complicated because it runs in the opposite direction. So it must be looped out with its complementary strand assembled in reverse, section by section.
Is there any chance for a mistake to enter into all this? How can you atheists believe in evolution? I just don't understand. You screw loose nothing. Everything's loose up there if you believe that.
At the end of this process, you have two identical DNA molecules, each one a few centimeters long, but just a couple nanometers wide. So to prevent the DNA from becoming a tangled mess, it is wrapped around proteins called histones, forming a nucleosome. These nucleosomes are bundled together into a fiber known as chromatin, which is further looped and coiled to form a chromosome. one of the largest molecular structures in your body.
In the world, in the universe. So the cichlid fish has to make a copy of all this. Well, let's see here. How many things could go wrong? The female has all the equipment to make about 300 eggs and know how to lay them. Does she know? Where did she get this equipment to make these eggs? How did the ovaries evolve? Why would the ovary evolve before there was any need for it? She has to copy the complex DNA code. Okay. How to lay them? She has to copy the code. How does she know how to copy that code so fast? She's got to do that for each of the 46 chromosomes and then start over and do it again for the next egg. 300 eggs. Guys, do you ever stop and think about what you think about? Any serious mistake and the baby dies. So that chromosome unwinds, makes loops. You can watch, there's lots of videos on how this happens. The more we understand about it, the less you ought to believe in evolution. How many things can go wrong? How does she do this with a tiny fish brain, the size of a marble? And most of that brain is busy thinking about food, avoiding enemies, finding a hubby, nest building, digestion, breathing. She probably doesn't even spend 1 second thinking about the code she has to copy 300 times. It's just happening automatically without her thinking about it. Let's see. Meanwhile, the male has evolved the equipment to make this and deliver the sperm, and the knowledge and the desire to go fertilize the eggs, even though these babies are going to create competition for his own food supply. So how did the male evolve that independently from the female? They don't touch each other. She lays the eggs, he swims by and fertilizes them. I would like to know how this evolved. You guys want me to pay to have you teach that to all the kids in school? Well, I think I got a right to complain about it that's not science. Okay, so it's going to increase competition. That's all it's going to do. So for millions of years, the male ignored the eggs laying there and did not fertilize them. And they all died. The female finally got it together how to make the eggs, how to copy the code, how to lay the eggs, and the male just swam on by. So none of them survived for millions of years until, please, come help us. We're trying to learn how to make babies. Please help. They're all dying. Oh no, they're dying. Let's go do it. The superheroes, time, mutations, natural selection, and more time. We can get the cichlids to make it. Come on, guys. Let's see, what could go wrong? He also has to know when to lay those eggs. She has to know when to lay them, when she lays the eggs. How does he know when she's ready? How did that evolve? It's a no-touch, but they're boring no-touch sex. He must somehow see her body movement for visual clues or smell in that lake full of water to know the right time. Because the sperm can only live a short time outside of his body. So you know what happened? For millions of years, he didn't get the subtle hints, and he didn't fertilize them, and all the cichlids died. None of them survived for millions of years until the superheroes came along. Come help us. We're trying to learn to make babies. Help. Let's go. They're all dying. And time, mutations, natural selection, and more time. They can do it, can't they? Given enough time. Let's see. The sperm, just out in the lake for the first time for to see the world in their life, they have to want to go find an egg. They have to drill into it and join their DNA with the DNA waiting inside. Do their job. Well, for millions of years, the sperm just swam around and played in the water and did not go to the eggs, and all the cichlids died. They all died. None of them survived until the superheroes came along. Please come save us. Help. We're trying to make babies. Let's do it, guys. Let's go save the cichlids. There you go. Time, mutations, natural selection, more time. It's amazing what they can do, isn't it? Stunning what they can do. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Okay, what could go wrong? The dad has to know to pick up those eggs in his mouth and protect them. He can't eat with them in his mouth. How long did it take him to evolve this behavior that will make him go hungry? Well, now for millions of years, he just ate them. And all the cichlids died. None of them survived until the superheroes came along. Come help save us. We're trying to learn to make babies. Help. Teach Daddy not to swallow them. Please, help. Let's do it, boys and lady. We can help. So time, mutations, natural selection, and more time. Hey, they can do it. Obviously, they're here. They did it. Obviously, they're gee whiz. How many things could go wrong? Female lays the eggs. The male fertilizes them, puts them in his mouth to protect them. His little fishy brain doesn't know why he's doing this, since it keeps him from eating for a while. Sometimes the mom holds them in her mouth. So the female lays the eggs. He don't know why he's doing this. Cichlids lay eggs either in caves or on rocks, and they defend them until they hatch. African cichlids are mostly mouth breeders, which means that after the male and female have spawned, the female, usually the male sometimes, incubates the eggs in their mouth. How do they know when they're ready to hatch? How does the egg know when it's ready to hatch? Female lays eggs which are fertilized by the male. She picks up the eggs and keeps them in her buccal cavity, the mouth. The male cichlids, preparing to procreate, usually become more aggressive toward males of their own species, sometimes killing them. So they want to make babies so bad they kill the other males. Why? You're increasing competition for your food supply, guys. Stop. Thank you, superheroes. You saved us. And thank you, Charlie Darwin, for telling them how to do it. It was our pleasure. Superheroes, welcome at Dinosaur Adventure Land. Come on down. How on earth does anybody with one functioning brain cell believe in evolution? I'm baffled. And I'll debate all of you at the same time. If no interruptions, one topic at a time. You get half the time, I get half the time. You go first. Where is the evidence for cichlid evolution? How did they develop this unusual behavior, step by step? I'd like an answer, please. I think a lot of people would like an answer. Put your comments below. Please subscribe to our channel, like us, and share it. Tell other people about it. Also, if you would go to all the atheist channels that talk about me when I'm not there to defend myself, put comments on their channel. Say, hey, why don't you debate him? He's challenging you. These guys are real brave keyboard warriors, when I can't defend myself. Come on, all you guys with your channel, you do Kent Hovind. Let's beat up on Kent Hovind when he's not here. That's called shadow boxing, isn't it? You're brave to beat up a shadow. Yeah, call me, 855 BIG-DINO. I'll take you all on. Joe, you schedule them. What's your email, tech? Yeah. Somebody tried tech at Dr. Dino, didn't work today. Dr. Dino at drdino.com. Okay. And you guys with the Jeep, I'll be over there in a minute. Give me a call if you're interested in making some kind of swap. Okay, any questions or comments? Crybaby. Is he going to answer the cichlid? They have a higher degree of evolvability than other fish species, due in part to the partitioning of trophic function between their oral and pharyngeal jaws. So because they have, are you serious? This is proof that they evolved? You don't get it. I would like a step-by-step scientific explanation how they developed this. So you're claiming they've got this cavity between their jaws. Okay. How did that evolve? Saying it's there is stating the obvious. That's not giving a scientific answer how it evolved. Go cry some more, okay? And come up with an answer this time. Okay. Jobert. I'm assuming that's French name. Parlez-vous français? Mais oui, je parle très peu français. Okay. Hi, Ken. Thank you for your hard work. I have a suggestion. After this series, you need an idea for a new series you should do about the human body, the human heart. Man, I thought about that. Just each bone, each organ of the body, each system, respiratory system, digestive system, circulatory system, integumentary system, balance system. I'm going as fast as I can go. Okay, I think I work pretty hard, don't I? Try to keep, these young guys try to keep up with me. I do pretty good. Okay. Anyway, I did a whole session on body parts. Oh, creation that destroys evolution. I go through the alphabet with a body part. There you go. Watch these. We got A through C done. and D through F, and we're going to get more done out. Okay, so that was a cool series. I mean, I put a lot of work into these. Okay, anybody else? Truth doesn't change, neither does Doc. Get over it. He's right. Evolution is wrong. Bobby, you did that just now? Thank you. God is right, and I'm on his side. I've been wrong a bunch of times, okay? But I try to follow what God says. And he says he made everything in 6 days. You know what? I believe that. I believe that. He said it's a great blessing to reproduce. I believe that, okay? Do you think there was rapid speciation after the flood? Well, it depends what you mean by species. I think all the cows don't care if they're different species. The dogs and wolves, they don't care. They can interbreed. Dogs and coyotes and wolves can interbreed. Coy wolf. They don't care that we have classified them in different groups. They don't care at all. The cows and the wolves, when they go to mate, look for another wolf, or if they can't find it, they'd mate with a dog. But they won't mate with a pine tree or an oak tree or a possum. They won't. Not interested. They know what their kind is. Forget the word species. There are 26 definitions of species. I showed that the other night. They're the same kind. God said 20 times in the first 7 chapters, they'll bring forth after their kind. He's trying to get a message across. They'll bring forth after their kind. Okay, any more? All right, thank you. See you later. Bye.